Good morning, everybody. Today we can speak about tenses. See, when we come to tenses, we have various aspects of tenses, how it varies and everything. But one important aspect of tenses is how it is related with daily English and how it is related with your VQAR, which we are speaking about is your placements and MNCs. So let us see them one by one, how they are, what they are, and how it happens. Okay. So this is one aspect of tense, the types of tense and other aspects of tense, where we have to do things based on the time being. So normally what happens is we have a verb which is subjected with time, and this time varies systematically. So where we see what we see how is now if an action which is a verb, the verb is important aspects which determines the time, not the noun. It's always a verb. The conditioning of verb is very important to determine the sentences also. So in the slide, what you're seeing now, we are seeing about tenses and we are speaking about how these tenses affect the sentences systematically. So right now we are seeing this as a fundamentally all the tenses. For example, past, present, future, but in between, what are they? So normally we have 12 tenses. Mostly the ones which are confusing are ones which are repeatedly asked or in MNCs 100% they will ask with simple tenses because they are easy but confusing, especially simple present. The second one will be perfect tense and continuous tense. So it can be past perfect. Most of the time it is present perfect and past perfect, present perfect continuous and past perfect continuous. Because these are used on a regular basis, but also these are used for other aspects also. So we need to be clear with the basic tenses first. So unless we are clear with the basic tenses, for example, when we say we normally start with present, but actually what happens is we start with the past because that is the first thing that happened. When I say I walk, this verb here is walk, which is present tense. So we need not even say I walk now. I walk something. Because I walk simply means right now. When I say I am walking, it is continuing. But when we say I was walking, now we need to fill it up in a different form because time plays a very major role. Even in simple present tense, it does. So what is tricky is how these continuous tense and perfect tenses are there. So normally the continuous tense and perfect tense, they differ. So how this adds up and how we do this really matters and how it goes on. So now let us do the next thing. Now, building blocks, verbs and tenses. So tenses indicates an action in terms of happenings of the action. Verbs go for state of action, not the state of being. So elementally, how we see this are different, conveying the accurate meaning and understanding the sentences. So normally when we want to start with, the subject and verb determines the conditioning. So when we say subjects, we have three types, first person, second person, third person. So first person indicates we, I. So singular is I, which can be subjective. If it is objective, it is me. Plurals or plural is us and we. We is again subjective, us is a bit objective. So second person, when it comes, the second person goes for you. So normally we ask this question to students, is you singular or plural? You can be considered either singular or plural depending upon the usage at one time. So when I ask you, are you Indian? Where you became plural. When I say, are you an Indian? When you became singular. So you is relative to the usage. He, she, it is normally singular. So the plural form of he, she, it is they. So how this verb works with the singular, plural, and time. These are the two commodities which determines how these things are and how these things should be. Okay. So we will see these aspects also of how these verbs determine how this verb works and how they are modified to different time clauses. And there is also a subtense supporting verb like is, are, we, has, have, had. So these normally had is something universal. Past perfect tense, always it is universal. Had. It is had for everything. I, you, we, he, she, it. But have mostly go for singular, first person. Was is for singular. Where is for plural. Is for singular. Was is not actually. Am is, they are singular. Are is for plural. So how subjectively we make this happen and how they are can always be determining in all these things. So let us look into these aspects of verbs also, how these sentences are built up. The building blocks not necessarily means verbs and tenses alone. Of course, there is a subject. Of course, there is an object. Of course, there is a time. Of course, there is an additional meaning which goes with conjunctions and preposition. We will see these aspects also. Okay. So let us keep continuing this and see what is going to happen next. Okay. So let us see those aspects also.